we need to talk about something pretty huge and potentially really scary if you're a small business owner that ships to the US. If you're new here, my name's Nikki and I'm a small business owner that's been shipping things all over the world for the last 15 years, whether it's cushions or stationery. On this channel, I usually share behind the scenes of small business life, as well as tips like this one and calming journaling content. Because if you're a small business owner, you know you're gonna need some stress relief because things like this happen. So if that's your vibe, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future updates. So you might have heard that a thing called the De Minimis exemption is coming to an end on the 29th of August. So this could potentially mean higher costs, slower shipping, and some really tough decisions if you're a small business. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna need my laptop here so that I can make sure that I'm getting this right, because there is a lot here. So de minimis was the rule that allowed us to ship items up to $800 value from the UK to the US without any duties or charges. So if I was to, for example, send a cushion from here to somebody in San Francisco, they wouldn't be hit with extra duties when it landed with them in the US. So from the Royal Mail website, and lots of small business owners like me use Royal Mail because it's the most cost-effective way to send things to the US. This is what they're saying. So it's saying that we will have to calculate and collect or account for duties at the point of sale, and they want those duties paid before the items enter the US. They will not allow items to enter the US if they haven't been paid for, the duties haven't been paid for in advance. So that means that we're going to have to add some sort of like cost calculator and collect those duties at checkout, and then make sure they're paid to the US Customs Department in advance of them entering the USA. So I'm guessing for this, maybe Shopify is going to have to come up with some sort of app or integration to help us do this. And Royal Mail are supposedly gonna create a new system for collecting this for business account customers. Now we are a click and drop customer, which means that we will hopefully have access to this, but there's no indication right now of when this is actually gonna come into force. So the bottom line is, it looks like this could take a while to get things set up. And even when it is set up, US customers are still going to have to pay these new duties depending on where the items are manufactured, not just shipped from. That is an important one. So what they're saying is, from 29th of August, there's going to be a 6-month period where they are going to charge either one of two different rates. So the first rate is a specific duty of between $80 and $200 per shipment, and that's something that the customer would have to pay to release their item from customs to claim it. Now, if I was that customer and I wasn't aware of that, I would probably just, and the item wasn't a huge value, for example, like if it was one of my boxes of stationery and it was maybe $20 of value, there's no way I'm going to pay $80 to accept that delivery. I'm just going to let it get returned to sender. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to do. So for small business owners, I think it's going to result in things like unclaimed packages and potentially things being returned to us or even lost. And the problem with that is, first of all, it's a bad service for our customers because they're not getting their item. And for us, it means that we're probably going to have to end up refunding customers whose orders haven't arrived and just hope for the best that the things that have been stuck in customs come back to us. I think that's going to mean that ultimately we end up losing stock and money. So based on all of this, it's a great argument for just switching off US shipping altogether. That is my plan for tomorrow. US shipping is getting turned off. The second option, and they haven't specified which one of these they're going to do, it seems to be a bit of a lottery right now. So for the next 6 months, they could either go with this $80 to $200 charge or what they're calling this ad valorem percentage of value duty based on the effective IEEPA tariff rate. Either way, it's going to be an additional cost for your customer. A fellow small business owner, Natalie, got in touch with me today, and she was talking about how it looks like some of the couriers are going to be going straight down this ad valorem route. So it could potentially be an option, and I've got a phone call with my DPD rep tomorrow to see if we can start shipping with them to potentially not get hit with the $80 costs and just go with the ad valorem percentage. It's still not great, but it's better than people getting stuck with $80 huge chunks of money for their small items. Either way, this is gonna be a big shift, and it's just going to be super off-putting for people to buy with us in the first place, I think. So this is just another thing that we're having to navigate as small businesses. It's not long since the new, I can never say the acronym right, always say it wrong, GPSR rules came in, meaning that we now need to have an agent in Europe if we want to ship there from the UK post-Brexit. So a lot of small businesses like mine just chose to not ship to Europe. So we've already lost a huge chunk of our sales to our European and Northern Irish customers, and now potentially we are going to have to chop US off of our lineup for the foreseeable future. I'm setting my last day for US orders as the 15th of August, just to make sure that everything arrives in time. Usually it's around 1.5 weeks, so that should give us a good buffer. But after that, we are going to take a pause from US shipping to make sure we can find a way that is going to have the least impact on customers. I want to keep shipping to our friends in the US, but I don't want to do it if it's going to be a bad service for them and ridiculously expensive. So right now, I'm just trying to do as much research as I can to navigate this. If you want me to make a follow-up video about how I get on with my research and if I find anything out useful, let me know in the comments. And if you found this useful, pop me a subscribe and come back for a relaxing journaling video. Maybe you'll need it after the end of August. All right, best of luck. I'll see you in the next one.